What's up, you fucking weirdos? What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Yeah. Weird ones only, we talking that truth. Ghost in the attic, yeah, show me the proof. Aliens creeping, they light in the roof. Minds wide open, we shatter the booth. Conspiracies deep, we digging the scars. Demons and angels and bodies on Mars. Cryptids be watching, they lurk in the dark. Mental on edge, but we glowing like stars. Welcome to the pod, no cap, it's a seance. Whispers in the static, spirits doing dance. Reptiles in suits, yeah, running the lands. MK Ultra made a puppet of your mans. Wendigo hunger, dogman strut, flat woods, eyes glow. Slice through the cut, Bigfoot tagging trees. Marking the trail, weird ones ride, no room for the frail. Talking about trauma, talking that soul. Peeling back layers, we digging a hole. Sacred geometry, numbers align. Ancestors speak through the veil and the sign. Ayahuasca dreams, third eye lit. Shadow self lurking, we making it spit. No mainstream lies. This the dirt where the weird ones rise from the blood and the hurt. Weird ones only, we talking that truth. Ghosts in the attic, yeah, show me the proof. Aliens creeping, they light in the roof. Minds wide open, we shatter the booth. Conspiracies deep, we digging the scars. Demons and angels and bodies on Mars. Cryptids be watching, they lurk in the dark. Mental on edge, but we glowing like stars. Voices in the woods got chills on the neck. Black-eyed kids at the door, now we check. CIA tapped in, fluoride drip. Project Bluebeam, watch that script. Talking about grief, talking about fear. Talking about why them voices appear. Healing the mind while breaking the chain. Spiritual warfare deep in the brain. We don't run from the strange, we live in the strange. Tattoo the truth in the scars and the pain. Stay weird, the mantra we own in the name. Reality bent, so we bend to the same. From the attic to the swamp, we tracking the freak. Where the veil get thin and the silence speak. We ain't your norm, we off that grid. Weird as the wave, yo, this where we live.
Would you like to hear a story?
Hey, this is Rochelle Stratton, and you are listening to Kevin with Where the Weird Ones Are. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is with Rachel and Kaz from Parehnormal podcast. Lovely ladies. They investigate, they do a podcast together. They both have haunted dolls, which is ew, disgusting. Get away from me. But today's episode, they've been on before. So if you're not familiar, I highly recommend getting familiar because they're not only are they great people, their podcast is great. The episode I did with them before was great, and this one is also fantastic. We talk about portals and realms today, so we kind of stick to a specific subject in this episode, uh, ergo portals and realms. So I really enjoyed it. I had a good time speaking with them as I usually do. Um, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I'm happy that we are transitioning into spring. It always kind of like revives me a little bit personally. So if anybody out there is experiencing any kind of mental distress, please, here in the United States, call or text 988. They are equipped to help you with any kind of mental distress needs. They have the resources, they can provide you with resources. And if you're just wanting to help a friend or significant other or parent, relative, whatever, they can also provide you with resources and ways to help the person that's in your life that you love and that is not wanting to help themselves. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, it's far too often that we get too down on ourselves and we think that we are so important that, you know, there's forces that are just against us specifically. When really the world is just it's just the world, man. Um I know it's hard to get out of funk sometimes, and trust me. I get there, I go there. I have a hard time getting out sometimes. It's almost like It's like you fallen into a foam pit, and you're just like having a hard time getting up, and then you can't, or you've fallen into like a wave pool or something like that, and the waves just keep crashing you, and it's just like you're just constantly being put down and down. And it's really when you really think about it, when you're in that state, you're just doing it to yourself. So, um one thing that I know that has helped me a lot is to just focus on the things that I love to do, which look, I know when we get into those situations in our heads and stuff, like sometimes it's hard to just do what we love to do. We find ourselves having a kind of like hating it, or just not getting um the same enjoyment out of it. So I don't know. I say that all to say this: you're worth it. You're enough. You deserve to be here. And even though the cards might not be in your hand, you can always pick them up. So stay another day, because I know you do not want to transfer trauma to anybody else and have them feeling the exact way that you're feeling. So I hope you keep on existing. And I love you. So the Kickstarter is out there for Secrets of Densmore Manor, trying to put this movie together, have everything in line, just the funding. So the Kickstarter will be in the show notes if you're interested in contributing. I would really love to have you on this journey with me as I go through the process of creating a movie. Um, and I'll also open the door for me to make more movies. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that this is going to be some big spectacular hit or anything like that, some blockbuster or whatever, but I do think that the story is really good, and I think that if you are a horror fan, you're going to enjoy it as well. Um, yeah, so I think the theme is there. I think the story is there. I think the acting is for the most part there. There's a lot of people contributing in here, but I got like 35 days left in the Kickstarter, and we're only 13% funded. Kind of hope that we would be at least closer to 100%, but 50% would have even been dope. But $5 is you get a screener. So like contributing in the Kickstarter, you get something out of it. It's not just like throwing money away either. So I thought I'd throw that out there. But if we don't reach our goal, I don't get any of the money, and the money goes back to whoever pitched in, and I won't be able to make the movie. So, but I am going to be working on a short film, horror short, probably about 15-20 minute movie, with me and my dog, where we face off with a monster. Um, I'm really looking forward to filming that. I'm going to do it right on my phone, and I think you'd be impressed with the how it looks. I think. I mean, I don't know. But anywho, it is something that I really want to do with my life, and I'm not expecting to make millions or anything like that. This is just I just want to entertain people. I don't want people to feel the way that I felt or that I feel when I watch a movie. Especially a horror movie, because some horror movies can make me feel fear or anxiety or whatever. So, I really want to make this movie. And if I have to do something else to get the funding for it, then I got to do something else for it. But I wanted it to get funded so that I could do it sooner than later. That way I could work on my second one um in the winter. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Also, if you're interested, Connie does have a audio version of her YouTube show, Talk Spooky to Me. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can check that out. Right now it kind of seems like she's doing one video a week for the audio platform, so I don't know. Something to think about if you're ever feel like you're looking for another podcast to check out. So I think that one is it. If not, you can definitely check her out on YouTube at Talk Spooky to Me with Connie. So she's dope. Love her to death. She's also going to be the star of Secrets of Densmore. So yeah. Super excited to do this. Patreon is up. We're doing watch parties for horror movies this coming Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing a watch party for the Horror Society tier. Actually, that's the only tier that is getting the watch parties. So we will be watching They Will Kill You this Friday. So if you're interested in that, if not, I have two other tiers. One of them's early ad-free access. The other one is you get an extra podcast and a coffee mug as well as the early ad-free. And then the third one, you get all the horror stuff. You get a horror podcast. You get a first dibs on parts, background parts, extras, etc. If you want them. Also, we'll be throwing out updates on movies when I go into production and actually making them. You'll get the behind the scenes stuff of the movies, and I will be posting my paranormal investigations there. So yeah. Anywho, well, I hope you guys have a fantastic day or night, whatever time you decide to listen to this, and let's get into this with Rachel and Kaz. Again, Parehnormal, their Canadian podcast. Check them out if you have not yet. Okay. Where the Weird Ones Go production. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you already knew that. And today I have two lovely ladies. They've been on the show before, not too long ago. Their podcast is called Normal, EH, because they're from Canada. There was a part of my life when I was a kid that I called Canada Canadia. I don't know why.
Okay.
I have
Listen,
no idea.
don't even get me started on pronunciation of things because it's not going to happen. It's just not. I do things phonetically. That's the way I was trained. But here in Canada, we have really strange words that you're like, oh, Okanagan. No, it's pronounced Okanagan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
That's
you
all
do
right,
what you do
'cause
best.
here in New England, we have a lot of things that that they put Scott on. So like Presumpscot or Swampscot, but the pronunciation is skit. So it's spelled Scott or just one T, but the way you're supposed to say it is skit.
There's a place called Swampskit.
Yeah, that's in Massachusetts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's right
I'd
next
go
to
there just for
Lynn.
that.
Lynn, the city of sin.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, dog. Anyways, if you guys don't mind, really quick introducing yourself and letting the good people know how amazing your podcast is.
So I'm Rachel, and then we have Kaz, and
Hi.
we are the hosts of the Canadian podcast Parehnormal. I guess we're pretty cool. I don't know. We're just weird.
We're very cool.
We're just two weirdos from Canada who like to get into a little paranormal chaos every now and then.
Yes.
With our trusty little plastic sidekicks that happen
Yes,
to
who have
all.
become, I think, more of a star than we are now.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, "Where's Chester and Harold?" And we're like, "Oh, we exist too." For those of you that
Yeah.
don't know, those are our like haunted dolls that sometimes appear in our show and get up to chaos.
Literally.
Mhm.
Literally.
Yeah, last time you guys were on, we met Chester, but we didn't meet Harold.
Oh
He's still
yeah.
hiding behind my well, he's not hiding. He lives behind my door because my other half is just like, I can't look at him. So he stays behind me.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to look at him either. I
He
don't
just
blame him.
chills. He just chills. He's just one of the many that I have. The rest of them are in
Oh
a
boy,
box in the basement.
a good spot for him.
Surrounded in concrete.
Literally. Literally. But yeah. So but that's us. That's us in a nutshell. So
Yep, and all their links will be in the show notes as per usual. Oh, that felt weird to say. Sorry. So as per usual. But today we're going to talk a little bit about some portals and realms and get the ladies' perspective on that. So, throughout history, people have claimed certain places aren't just haunted, they're connected. Connected to something beyond this world, not ghosts, not imagination, but doorways. And if even one of those doorways is real, then the question isn't, are we alone? It's what's been watching us from the other side. So, my first question for you guys. Oh my God, did I really go through a whole bunch of stuff before I got to my questions that I wanted to do? All right. When you hear the word portal, what do you think of?
I would think of like an entranceway or
Mhm.
exit, I suppose, that leads to another realm, another dimension, another area. Um, something I don't know necessarily that I think it's a bad thing or a good. I don't know that I place a positive and negative. I suppose it depends what comes out of it.
And I guess
Yeah.
you should also it's also what was the intention if it was created or what is the intention of it now. So if it was something that was created say in a séance or something and the intention was to bring stuff in to chat, then maybe if it was done during like a ritual or something, maybe it's a little different connotation, right? So I guess it's
Mhm.
kind of what was going on at the time of when it was created
Yeah.
would be what comes through, I guess, right? Like they say
Yeah.
Ouija boards are portals, like, but people think Ouija boards are bad, and some think they're good. So really, I guess it's the intention of whoever created it.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, I would. Yeah. Do you think they would be more like physical doors or like just you're blinking in and out, like you just walk, like say, because this kind of happened to me when I was a kid, where, well, at least that I think. Anyway, I don't know. It could have been a dream, but I'll just tell you the story. My listeners are probably like, "God damn, dude, fucking, we hear your stories like all the time." But
Listen,
um,
we have someone like that on our team.
Oh, don't get him
anyway,
started.
so I was like 10 years old. Me and my sister used to pretend that we were hunting monsters or aliens, and we would make guns out of sticks and stuff. And it was like just a very light dusting of snow out at the time, and we saw some squirrel tracks. And the squirrels, they put their front paws together, so it looks like it's like a three-pronged footprint. So it's like, oh, there's an alien. Let's go get it. So we walk into the woods and we come across this creek. And when I was a kid, this creek felt a little bit further away, but I just went out there like a month or so ago, and the creek is literally I could see it right there from the road. But anyway, so I'm walking, and I used to wear glasses too. Um, and all of a sudden, like there's like this blue tint, and right there in front of me on the other side of the creek is this little village of mushroom people. and they don't have faces. They don't have like any like human characteristics. They're just moving around. Like and they have like these little nubs, and they're stoking a fire. They're literally like 3 inches tall, like just like a regular mushroom that you would see, just literally moving around with these little nubs. And they had all these like little twigs that they were collecting, and they were stoking this like little fire in the center of their little village. And I feel this tap on the back of my head, and my head goes my just like jerks like that, and my glasses fall off and fall on the ground. And I feel this something on my shoulder, and I turn my head, and it's a mushroom. And I'm like, what the hell? And telekinet telekinetically, I think that's the word.
Yeah.
Um, it says you don't need those, and I'm like, my glasses, and it goes yes. And then just as it says yes, it boom gone, and my sister's standing there. My sister's like, "Are you all right?" And I turn my head, and I don't see anything. Everything's normal color now, and I was like, I lost my glasses. So my sister comes over to look for them. I literally get down, like kneel down to see if I could see them, and I just hear crunch. And so once I realized my glasses were broken, like the whole experience went out of my head. And I ran home. My mom was like, I'm not going to get you new glasses right now because you have an appointment coming up anyway. And if your prescription changes, I don't want to have to buy two pairs back to back. So we went. My appointment came around. It was just like a couple weeks after this, and my doctor's like, they did the test, and my doctor's sitting on that little frickin' swivel stool, looking at the paperwork, and he turns right around and he goes, "Your vision is 20/20," and we're all like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you don't need glasses." He goes, "I would recommend them for when you're watching TV or reading or stuff like that." But yeah, your eyes are looking pretty good and strong. And then my mom's like, "Yep, we're not gonna get glasses because now we don't have to spend money on them, you know." So ever since then, I haven't needed glasses. But if that wasn't a dream, either way, my eyes got better, and I only wore glasses for like 2 years, or 3. I think I got them. I got glasses at 8 years old, and then I wore them until 10, until I was 10, till this happened. And but if that is a portal and it wasn't a dream, that experience, there was no physicality, there was nothing to be seen, it just happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I know walking in the woods, we were told many times if there's trees, kind of the identical trees standing close together, you should never go through them because that's a portal.
Oh, really?
Um, so I don't know if there are various ones. I don't know if there's literally like a door, like you walk literally through a doorway, or whether it's just all of a sudden you walk through the field and halfway through the field you're crossing through. I guess it kind of is how Rachel said. It depends where someone opened it at the time.
Mhm.
Maybe what was on the land before that structure was there. So that's why, now it feels like you're walking through a doorway, but really it was whatever was there before.
Yeah.
I mean, they say mirrors, if you put them together, create some sort of energetic portal as well. So therefore, I don't even know what happens if you get in the middle of that. I don't know.
Did you
Because I
never
don't think
sit
you
on
go
the you
through the
never sit
mirror.
on the bed at the Beck house when they had all the mirrors in there like that?
No, by the time I got in there, everyone had flipped the mirrors because chaos was happening. So I had no idea that there's all these mirrors pointing each other. But I've been in,
Damn.
I'm
Wouldn't
pretty sure
the
in the,
Sorry.
I was going to
I was
say
just
in the Winchester Mystery House, in her seance room, I'm pretty sure that room is full of mirrors. That's a fucked up
yeah.
room. I took crazy pictures in that room where it's like insane strobe lighty things, which there was nothing in this room to do that. And it was a day tour. You think I could find that picture? It's gone. Because I showed Mark after, I'm like, look at this picture. And he's just like, whatever, because he doesn't believe. But I'm like, it's the ghost. So whatever. I don't know what happened to this picture. But it's so weird because there's all these mirrors and it was her seance room. So obviously that's where she's doing all kinds of crazy shit. But I don't know. I don't know. It feels weird when you walk in between two mirrors that are facing each other. I do
Does it?
know that.
Because I was thinking when you were talking, I was thinking about the fun houses that are sort of just all mirrors, like mazes. They're like kind of mazes. I wonder, because I've never felt anything in there. I wonder if that kind of like draws some kind of portal, because it's tons of mirrors facing each other.
Mhm. I think you're just so concerned you're going to smash your face into a mirror that you don't give a shit if you're in another dimension or not.
Yeah.
You're like,
Put you
whatever
in another
dimension this is,
dimension.
don't let me walk into a mirror. That's all I'd be thinking.
I always get creeped out because I feel like I'm gonna see like either something that I don't want to see, or I'm gonna see me doing something that I'm not doing, and that they've portrayed that in horror movies, a couple of them now. I think the latest one that happened in was in the newest Conjuring movie, which I didn't really care for, but
I don't watch that stuff anyways. It's too fake.
yeah,
Do the real thing. But like
it is.
even like as you say, like scrying is a way to look into a portal. If you scry with a mirror, that would
Yeah,
be another way you could find yourself, sucked in or bringing something in or whatever. And that's creating one yourself, right? So,
yeah,
and for me, when I look back at everything I've ever experienced, for me, a portal is something that mostly is created by the living. I don't think I'm sure there's natural portals out in nature and stuff, but like
yeah,
if you're thinking like spirit wise, like paranormal and ghost wise, I think a lot of it has to do with the living creating this doorway. Whether it's a sliding glass door or a freaking revolving door. Because I'm pretty sure some locations we've been to are revolving doors. And that's just the way that spirits come and go.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I believe that. That's kind of like what I think about cryptids when it comes to Bigfoot and all that stuff. I think that's why we can't find them, is because they're technically interdimensional. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, if Bigfoot's real, it's just a physical being. And I'm not saying that that him being interdimensional means he's fake or an apparition or anything like that. It's just he's not here. You know what I mean?
he just doesn't
But when
live
he's
here.
here, he's physical. You know, there's so many. I was talking about this with Stephen and Leslie Shaw. They're the authors of Who They Are and What They Know or something. I can't remember, but it's they have a pretty interesting theory on aliens and stuff like that. But we were talking about their experience their experiences and stuff, and they were talking about how there are so many abductees or people that see a UFO or an alien of some kind, and that it's followed up by Bigfoot or Bigfoot first. Either way, either or. They see a Bigfoot and then all of a sudden they're abducted, or they see a UFO flying overhead, or they'll see the UFO and then all of a sudden Bigfoot comes walking across the street. So
Interesting.
there's millions of those kinds of stories. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that how there's I don't know if you guys know any of these kinds of stories, but like these big bright, either they're white or orange balls that float through the woods.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have them
There's a
here.
do you? Okay.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stories of that happening, and then an encounter with Bigfoot too.
I was
So
gonna
I
say
wonder.
up here we have a place called Ghost Road where they have that. I've seen it personally.
Oh
But
my.
a lot of people just call it swamp gas
Yeah, that's what
or
I've heard
ball
too.
lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder. I wonder what the the normies try and like use to scientifically describe how that would be swamp gas.
Who knows? A lot of the ones up here are like, oh, that's just another car's headlight. Sure,
Oh, really? Okay.
sure it is. Whatever makes your little heart not scared. I'll pretend
Uh,
that I believe you.
I was talking to a gentleman. His name's Shane. He was in North Carolina, I believe. Um, not too far from. No, I think he was pretty far actually. Never mind. But he said he was driving home one night and these like orange balls were just floating across the street, and he was like so enamored in awe that he got out and just watched it. And I was like, you didn't take like a video or take a picture? He's like, no, I was just like so captivated that I just watched it until it was gone.
Well, at the Hinsdale house, I think it was the second time we were there.
We've only been there
I was
twice.
like, "Oh, look how big the moon is." And
Yeah.
we kind of watched it rise and then it disappeared. And about I don't know, less than 5 minutes later I'm like, "Is that the moon again?" And we watched it rise. It was this big orange bowl and it disappeared, and I'm like, "Did I not just do this already?" And then it watched it rise and I videoed it. And it happened like 3 or 4 times, and we're like, "What's going on right now?" And we have no idea what it was. And where it was coming from, it's just forest. And but it would follow the same pattern, and it wasn't a plane because it was like this big around,
It
this
was the
big orange
fucking
ball.
moon.
And we were like, "But the moon doesn't like and then go down and then come up," and you know what I mean? Like it was crazy. We don't know what that was. And then the ghosts were like, anyways, back to us. Da, 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 da. And then we forgot about the creepy thing outside and off we went.
And Rachel was like, I'm tired. I'm going to take a nap.
Well, that's a norm.
Yeah, we already established how weird it is that you sleep in haunted houses.
Hey,
that was the last episode.
Mm-hmm. And
nothing
like
And then,
snore sleep. Like
nothing has
she's
changed.
out.
We just were at a place, well, not close to us, but like 2 hours from us. It's called the Beck House in Penetanguishene, in Ontario,
yep.
and it's got a great history. And the third floor they rent out for it's an Airbnb, but it's haunted, and
Mhm.
that's how she rents it out for investigations and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to bed. This is 11 o'clock at night, and they just all left me in the one apartment, and went to the other one. And I was like, whatever, I don't give a shit.
Because you're sleeping. You stay with the weird portal room that has spirits coming in and out.
Just like the last time we went to Wildwood, and I was just so bloody tired on the third floor, and you all guys left me, and I was like, fuck it, come get me, ghosts. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. That's
Portals
funny.
or not.
Mm-hmm.
I love the topic of portals ever since I was a kid, because sometimes I feel like you can visit different times of our own history and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But I was wondering, what do you think about certain locations possibly just being thinner, like just I don't know, like the Bermuda Triangle or Skinwalker Ranch or something like that? Like, do you think like there are certain places like that, maybe not exactly those places, but places just happen to be thinner to where you can step into a portal?
Oh, I think there obviously is places out there that would definitely have that ability where the veil is much thinner than, say, like high dense populated areas. So again, Bermuda Triangle again. And what's the natural like resources, and what's the natural like what's going on that's natural that gives that energy, right? So like water and like the earth, and the earth's plates and all that kind of stuff that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about half the time, but that kind of stuff, right? Like what's going on with that stuff that makes it that type of area. Skinwalker Ranch and all that, like it is literally in the middle of the desert pretty much, as far as I know. So what is going on with nature out there? What's the sun giving energy to the moon? what's in the dirt, like what's in the soil, what was there before, what were the native tribes there, like all of that stuff. I think you'd have to take a look at together to kind of come up to a really good conclusion of what the hell is going on out there, and whether or not there's a door, or if it's just a place where all the weird things go, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
think
Go ahead.
I was just going to say nature is the frequency of nature is very, very strong. And as a species now, we are so far away from our natural rhythm and vibration that sometimes when we get into a place that is all just natural, we feel really often crazy because we're just sort of getting back into that natural flow of
Mm-hmm.
things. So like when you go into the woods and you are walking and you're far from cars and traffic and buildings, it feels like you're in a whole other dimension sometimes because all of a sudden it's just a whole other frequency. It's natural. There's not all this EMF bullshit and disturbing your own waves and frequencies. So is that itself affecting, and so people suddenly are like, oh, I went through a portal, but really we're just
They just
getting
went in the
back
bush.
to nature.
Yeah.
Or is that in itself another portal now, because we've got this divide where we've got this natural world and this incredibly unnatural world that we live in, and it's so drastically different that nature's like, I need to put a wall up, and so to protect herself. And then when you cross over it, like how many times have you gone on vacation, you stand on the beach and you go, ah, because it feels so different. You like shed all that other shit.
Mm.
So these places, like as you said, Skinwalker Ranch is, pardon? Yes. Sorry. It was just a portal opening and my husband being like, "Did you feed the dog? Bye." Diddle-diddle-doo. I don't know much about Skinwalker Ranch, but as you said, it's like in the desert, so I can't think of much more natural than that.
Mm.
And maybe that's it. Like there's just this crossover that happens. I don't
I was
know.
just kind of thinking as right after I asked and Rachel was going through her thought process on it. I just kind of I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I think it has a little bit of like our vibration too. But like like Bermuda Triangle and Skinwalker Ranch. Skinwalker Ranch again, desert, static electricity because the dry air, that's static electricity, and then the Bermuda Triangle with the lightning and storms out there, um, possibly causing um, more electricity in the air because of the storm. I wonder if that has, because everything is vibrational, everything has energy, and I just wonder if that has maybe something to do with it. Is
And
the
water is a good conductor of electricity too.
and that too,
Which
yeah.
people don't really think of, and we've heard so many conflicting things around here. Like there's some people who believe ghosts can't cross water. Some people, yeah,
I've
it's
seen
ridiculous.
ghosts in the water.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like you have to remember, like just because the desert is dry on the top, there's usually some type of water source underneath. And
Mm-hmm.
and not obviously not like 1 or 2 feet, like deep underneath. And again, you have ley lines and all of those,
Ley
naturally
lines, yes.
producing, you
Mhm.
know, things for energy, right? So what who's to say none of that is causing it? It's just we just don't know. There's so many things about the natural world that we still don't understand, that scientists don't know, nobody knows, and they're still learning about, right? So
Mhm.
maybe that could be something that you know keeps it going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I think a lot of our modern day stuff like foods, like processed foods. I'm not saying I'm not against modern medicine, but I think where we've gotten so far away from holistic medicine at this point, I think, the calcifying of our pineal gland has inhibited us. Maybe we were once upon a time like a Bigfoot where we could just be like, hey guys, we're gonna go over here. Let's
Mhm.
just walk over here and we'll be on Mars. Come on. Something like that. I don't know. But it's I do know that there are things that we as a species used to be able to do, and I know that we can't anymore. That's why when like all these like meditative people, like people that fast more than they eat and they eat more natural foods and stuff, they tend to be more connected to the earth and more like peaceful or like zen. And then I'm just like, man, I want to get on that level. But there are so many processed foods that I'm like, I really want to eat that, you know?
You ain't giving up that burger.
Yeah, that shit. Um, but yeah, no, because I mean, breakfast used to not be something that we as a species really did. That was the 20th century. That was when breakfast really started happening. And there's a conspiracy with that. I mean, even cereal is a conspiracy. It was never meant to be. Um, it was never meant for. It was never meant to be breakfast. It was just something that they made, and then they're like, "How are we going to market this?" And then they're like, "Well, people need to eat in the morning." And then that's how we're like, and then they're like, "We need 3 meals a day, and you need to sit on your ass as a child for 8 hours a day because we need strong factory workers,
Mhm. I believe it.
obedient too." But yeah,
Yep.
no. I always refer back to the time that Theo Vaughn was on Joe Rogan podcast, and he's like, "Do you think that the wind is trying to tell us something we don't know how to hear anymore?" And Joe Rogan's like, "No." And then Theo Vaughn's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, me neither." You know, kind of, like, and I'm just like, I think he was like, he like played it off like he was joking, but I was like, I think he was being serious, and I think
Yeah.
there's something to that.
There is.
I
There
f-
really is.
well, what you were just saying, Kevin, about mostly about Bigfoot and how maybe even people at one point we could just, all of a sudden be here and there or there. That's how I believe our spirit is. So, our soul spirit, whatever you want to call it, is this energetic form, time, space. It's irrelevant. You can go anywhere at any time, anything. And then we are in these physical bodies that are very limited by space, time, gravity, whatever else. Um, so I think when our physical selves die, our energy is able to do that. That's
Hmm.
why spirits, can fleet in and out,
Hmm.
and ones are coming in from the 1700s and whatever, or I think that you're onto something there. I
Hmm.
do think that that's what we're capable of. Just in these physical bodies, we can't do a lot of anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Agreed. Agreed. And then once our physical bodies start to break down, because you hit 40, and
Yeah.
you just can't go anywhere anymore because everything hurts, right? So
Yeah, we only have we have a limited time in these. It's just like a car. After a certain amount of miles, it starts acting up.
Yeah.
they say
And
they're
just
not.
like cars, they don't make them like they
I
used
was gonna
to
say
because
they're not built like we're.
these new models are pretty shit.
I agree.
Listen, listen. I can
Uh,
tell you right now. I work in post-secondary, and I have seen our future first responders. Yes, the ones that show up when you are having the worst day of your life, who
oh boy.
couldn't work a pant hanger. You clip, you pinch it, and you hang your pants. They couldn't do it. They didn't know how. So that's really reassuring, everyone. So best of luck.
Interesting.
Wow.
That is super freaking interesting.
It's awful. It's awful.
It's either they don't know how to do anything or they stare at you.
Yeah, because they expect you to do it for them because that's what their parents have done for them for their whole
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah. I see a lot of them in like customer service, like the new generation where they just stare at you. And
and
I'm
their
like,
parents still come to school with them.
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, but like I'm like, aren't you supposed to acknowledge me or do I have to acknowledge you? I don't understand. They'll just be like, I'll be standing in the line and they'll be like doing their thing and then they'll just go like, do I talk?
Wow. Most of them
That's
around here don't make eye contact.
Okay.
They're either on their phone or they're like, and then it's really creepy because you're staring at them and they're like, you're like, hello, hello.
They're looking for their own portal to escape, is what they're looking
Yes. Well, the
yeah.
device in their hand is the portal. That's what it is.
It is because it's the black freaking I can't remember. Never mind. I'm not gonna go into that. I know there's some thing about the freaking screen on the phone that is weird, but I can't remember right now, so I'm not gonna talk about it, even though I'm freaking wasting 2 minutes talking about it. But do you? So we kind of talked about this before, like what we used to be able to do, right? Um, do you think people in the past knew more than what they ever said? Like when it comes to portals, like ancient cultures believed like rituals could open portals, like we talked about at the very beginning, rituals and stuff opening portals. I think, me personally, I think the Mayans definitely knew.
Oh, for sure. You also have to think too is like when we go back to like older, even just generations, and then
Yeah.
different cultures, they all have their different beliefs too. But we were much more closer to death than we are now because now we have this whole death care industry that has kind of taken over, and they've kind of made you fear death a bit more because now it's taken outside of the home. So, and you have to think back in the day, everything was done in the home, it was done with family, it was done with friends, and you were much closer to that process, which allowed
Mhm.
you to be more spiritual, which allowed you to believe more in what is the possibilities of afterlife, right? So, and definitely these Mayan cultures, these Aztec cultures, Egyptians, like all of that, they all had different views on death, but they were definitely more closer than what we were, even back in the 1800s, right? So that's just
Yeah.
my
Mhm. Well, and then
I,
you have like the whole spiritualist movement in like the late sort of or mid to late 1800s, where everyone was so into it and it was all cool and the cool people were doing it. And they were like literally trying to open portals and have people come in and from other worlds, I guess. So you're right. Like it was big, it was always accepted and they talked about it more. Maybe it's because it wasn't like written down so much because it was just accepted. So they're like,
it
what do
was
we need to
part
write
of
about
life.
this?
right,
Yeah,
true.
Death was part
exactly.
of life. So that door was always there. It was just whether or not when it was going to be opened and when it was going to be closed. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
nowadays you mention the word ghost to somebody and they're either really interested or they are terrified. There is no in between anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It seems like a lot of people are pretty into the ghost stuff nowadays. Although when we were at the SK Pierce mansion yesterday and we got yelled at from some kids in a truck that their dad probably paid for. It was a jacked up truck. He only had his window down this much and he's like, and I'm just like, I can't fucking, so I just gave him the finger. I have no idea what he's saying. So it could have been he could have been like, hey man, you're a really good looking guy. And I would have been like,
Yeah.
ah, you know,
Maybe he was
but
like, don't go inside. There's a portal. And you're like, "Arr," and now you're in
I,
it.
Yeah, probably. That'd be interesting. But there was a story that I heard not too long ago it was like during the spiritual movement of the late 1800s where I think it went into like the early 1900s, like maybe the 20s if I remember correctly, but there was this gentleman and I believe it was in the US, and he would perform seances and people loved him because he put on a show, but he also had like hooks in his sleeves where he could make the fucking table move and shit like that.
Uh-huh.
So
Good old parlor
this
tricks.
yeah. So but a lot of people knew that he did it, but they loved the show so much that they didn't care.
Mhm.
Um so he was supposedly his very last seance that he did, he channeled some angry old woman or something like that. I could be getting this wrong, so don't quote me, but either way, he channeled a ghost or what people thought was him channeling a ghost, and then he just fell. He went to pick up the table with his hook, and then he just fell dead. He just fell to the floor and he was
Whoops.
dead. And for the longest time, people thought that the ghost killed him. And still, people will say to this day that ghost killed him. I can't remember this guy's name for the life of me, but when I heard this story, it was a couple months ago. And from basically, he had a heart attack, and the coroner or the funeral guy, whatever they called it back then, was like mortician, was like he had a heart attack, and I don't know why, because he was like early 30s, and they were like that doesn't happen at this young and stuff. But what they didn't realize is that it was like his fifth seance that same day, and picking up the tables
Oh.
over repeatedly and shit like that. And those are fucking heavy tables
Oh
back then.
yeah.
So that's what
Solid
I
wood.
think that I happened, but a lot of people were like, the fucking ghost killed him. They got his number and they clocked his ticket.
How long do you think those people were sitting there like, oh, this is brilliant, because they thought it was all part of it until they were
Hey,
like,
that's what
it's taking
that's
a
what
long
this
time to get up.
that's what the story said, is that people were so like were laughing and stuff when he fell over, thinking it was a part of the act and shit, and fucking then after, he didn't get up after 10, 15 minutes, they're like, maybe something's wrong.
Wow.
The best kind of seance, the one where someone dies.
Mhm.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Oh man, I would cry, I think.
Well, if they
I would
wanted a dead person, they totally got one.
yeah. Now you have a very fresh spirit to communicate with.
Exactly.
In the flesh, nonetheless.
And he's like, it was all bullshit. uh,
What so I have another question. When it comes to hauntings and and spirits, what if they aren't spirits stuck here, but they're just passing through? Like, you know, you go to a certain location, they're like, "Oh, this is Carl," but it's like every time you experience Carl, it's a different ghost just coming through the area. You know what I mean? But they do the same kind of like the same stuff. Do you think that like might be a possibility?
Yeah. So like our team, so like the paranormal seekers that I run, that we're a part of, we classify ghosts and spirits as two totally different things because
Okay.
really they are. So a ghost is someone who has died rather suddenly. They're kind of, replaying the last bits of their life, or they're just kind of don't know where to go or what to do, so they're stuck, right? So they kind of do the same things to kind of get noticed. Um and they're always there until they can move on. Now, a spirit is someone who's died, they cross over to the other side, they come back to visit. So these are the ones that will visit like favorite people, places, things. So they'll check up on their loved ones. They'll make sure you're not screwing around with their dishes, like all that kind of stuff. And this is where you'll get a lot of those familiar smells. Like you'll just be sitting on your couch one day, reading a book and all of a sudden you smell this like super strong like lavender perfume and you're like, oh, that's what, you know, Aunt Mabel used to smell like. Well, that's probably Aunt Mabel anyway. She's come to check on you, right? Like that's how spirits work. They come and they check on their favorite people and places and things, which is why some places may say, oh, we are haunted, but the hauntings are sporadic. And that's usually because it correlates to when the spirit has come to visit, if it's an anniversary date or something like that, right? Or they just have so many different experiences that they can't figure out exactly where it's going to land. And it's usually more than one who's come to visit or hang out or whatever.
I would agree with that. I think that sounds great.
It's just, and it's easier to distinguish, like when you're talking to someone, because a
Yeah.
lot of people like interchange the word, and then sometimes it's like, is it a ghost? Is it a spirit? What is it, right? So it's just easier to just have two set definitions that you can kind of go back to when you're talking about it, you can kind of put it in those categories, right? So
That's interesting. I like that line of thinking. I think I agree.
yeah.
So say I think portals are real. So not to say if they are real, but do you think, and from your perspective, do you think it's possible to be able to control a portal?
Again,
Or is
I
it
would
more
say
like once it's open, anything can come through at all? And
I would say one, depends on if you're the one who's opened it or not.
yeah.
And two, what the intention was. If the intention was to always have the good come in, then it's probably going to stay like that. If the intention was to only invite the bad, probably going to stay like that. If you're the one that's opening and closing it, I guess you have control. I've never
I
done
Yeah.
that,
mean,
so
I think a good example of an maybe unintentionally created portal was at the Beck house that we were just talking about earlier. Um, so this is an old historical home, a mansion, let's face it. And as Rich was saying, the two upper floor apartments are now kind of available to rent for crazy people like us. And one of the bedrooms, the lady that owned it, she was gifted a bunch of beautiful like dresser sets with mirrors, and she didn't realize she faced two mirrors together. And after she did that, shortly
Mm.
after, she's like, all of a sudden, that's when people started reporting all these things happening. Like the cupboard door opens, the door handle randomly flies off, people feel like they're touched, bad things like sounds, the light flickers. So the first time I went, which was last year, I missed, I guess, the chaotic stuff that was happening. So some of the team members were like, I can't take this. And they actually moved the mirrors so they were no longer facing each other. And then I ended up sleeping in that room. And I was like, this was the best night's sleep I had. Like, nothing at all. So, was an unintentional portal created with the mirrors facing each other? And as soon as you move that alignment, it cancels it out? Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know. So maybe in that stance too, if you have sort of an unintentional portal, but then you somehow break it, that could be a possibility as well.
And again,
Yeah.
like with all of these different individuals coming into the place, you never know what their intentions are, right? Like you have teams like us who come in, their intention is to learn about the history, share the stories, get the correct information. And then you have some teams and some people that go in there with the pure with good intentions, but they're there to antagonize and disrupt and
Provoke, yeah.
and just kind of cause a ruckus to kind of get the experiences that they want, which is crazy evidence, to be scared out of their minds and all that. So that energy, when you put it out there, can create something you might not want and open doors to things that you might not want to talk to. So again, and the question is, do those stay open when they leave, or do they close and go with them, right? Like, because that energy is now gone and a new energy comes in. Or does the new energy kind of say, okay, we're closing this door and we're going to open this one now, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
so if one group went in and provoked and were being jerks all night, and then the next group the next night comes in with the same attitude, is that door now wider, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's one of those things. It's like Wildwood.
Mm.
You just never know.
That place is so interesting. And doesn't it have a underground river or something flows
Yeah,
under it anyways?
I think
So,
so. Yeah.
and they used it for a bathhouse. So they've got all this energy. Rah, I don't know.
Mm.
Lots of chaos
Yeah,
there.
that's interesting. I didn't know they had water underneath it.
Yeah, I think there's like a underground stream that runs underneath all of Salamanca, New York, at some point somewhere. So, and that's
Okay.
the other thing. Like these houses, like even up here, they're built on top of these deep underground streams. Like sometimes your wells were under your house, right? So
Yeah.
where do you think the water went? It just didn't just come up just to the well. Like it went everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
All right.
Kevin, I
So
have a question for you, if I can,
go
just
ahead.
quickly.
Absolutely.
When you were experiencing the little mushroom people,
Hmm.
what was your sister doing? And did she say, like, was it just a split second in sort of her world, or were you like in a different kind of state for a few minutes and she couldn't get you out of it? Or did she say?
Yeah, we talked about it. She's like, I don't really remember it because it wasn't significant to me. But
Mm,
like, she's like, if she's like, there's been times where where you just space out, and I'm just like, are you all right?
right.
That
Are
could
you
have
still
been one of
here?
those times. She said, yeah. So, like,
Oh,
so from
interesting.
what I'm thinking is like, I was standing there in this realm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my eyes were seeing something else. So I was just kind of
Right.
like standing there, like, what the hell? And then when I turned my head, she probably thought I was looking at her, but I was looking at the one that's on my shoulder. And then she was probably talking to me. And then as soon as it blinked out and I'm looking at her, and she's like, are you all right? And I'm like, oh, my glasses, you know? So,
Wow. Interesting.
but I have quick, fun questions for you. I have three of them. Um, So, all right. So, first question is, if you found a portal, are you going through it? If you can physically see it?
If I'm coming back, yeah, I'll go through it. I want to know what's
Would
on
do
that other
we
side.
do we know, like, can we see into the portal so we know like it's here? Or we just know that it's a portal and we just gotta go through and risk
You
whatever is on the other side.
you just gotta you just know it's a portal and you gotta risk what's on the other side.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Listen, if I knew I was able to get back to this side, yeah, I'd go.
Mm,
Yeah, like I
I
I
think
suppose if I knew 100% I could get back, maybe. I don't know. It's a really good question. Hmm,
all right. Well,
maybe.
okay. Question number two, would you rather see what's on the other side or never know?
Oh, I'd rather see.
Same here. I got questions though for the other side, so I kind of need to see.
Yeah, I'd want to see for sure.
Yeah.
Um, this one, I think we kind of like discussed it though. Do you think something has already come through portals? Which I would say
Oh
yes,
yeah.
me
Oh yeah.
personally.
Hmm. Definitely.
100%.
Hmm.
All right. Well, if there are doors between worlds, do you think we're the ones discovering them, or do you think something else is using them to find us?
Oh, there's definitely something using it to find us. we
Yeah,
are
I
the
think they
dumber
have it.
species out there if we haven't figured that out already. Um, so yeah, there's definitely things that are watching us more than we're watching them. It's just
Uh,
yeah.
I agree with that. I'm
Yeah.
freaking yeah. So, all right, let me flip it this way. Say portals are real. I keep all my questions are like, well, are they? Say they are real. They are real. I think they're real. Anyway, um, what do you think is on? I think I fucking already asked this question. Why do I have it down here twice? What do you think is on the other side of a portal? I feel like I asked that.
Well, it depends on.
Yeah.
It really depends on where you are and what's
It
going on.
depends on the intent.
That too. It could be a really
Yeah.
fantastic place. Could be fire and brimstone. I don't know. What's going on there? Like, where is it? Where am I walking through? Is it outside? Is it in a house? Is it in a basement? Right?
Yeah. I think well, so so say like we'll go back to the mushroom people situation that I had. If that wasn't a dream and that was a real fucking experience, like mushrooms themselves, the regular edible ones, and I'm not talking about the magic ones, they have a lot of good properties for regenerating brain cells. So they're really good for your brain for focusing, focus quality, regenerating dead brain cells. Um, and stuff like that. There's a couple other things. I think they help with eyesight too. Actually, that would make sense.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Having an
Actually, now
epiphany.
that I think of that,
Woo!
like eating them is like really good for you. So I try to eat lion's mane as much as I possibly can. But anywho, those are all the portal questions I have for you guys.
I don't have any.
Could you imagine? Say we could just be like, hey, fucking open so I can go to Kaz's house or open so I can go to Rachel's house. I think that would be that would save us so much time. We wouldn't need airplanes. We wouldn't need cars anymore. We could just walk to wherever we need to. Or we could go pick up our groceries within 5 minutes. We could go um, get ourselves a new couch within five. Just be like, hey, dude, I need you to come help me pick up this couch. And just like, and then you don't have to worry about the size of your door to get your
Outside.
house in. I mean, you get your couch in. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have to
I
do
know.
all
It'd
this
just be like,
measuring to
"Wah."
make sure your couch fits. You're already in your living room. You just open the portal.
Yeah.
Just reach in and grab your snack and reach back out. Be like, I'll pay for it later.
Yeah. Some change.
Mind you, that would also come with dangerous times because you could be in the
Yeah, that's
shower and then
true.
someone's
That's
like,
true.
how's it going? And you're like, who invented the portals?
That's my biggest
So,
fear.
yeah.
Somebody
I
just
guess
being
you
like,
have to have
I'm
like
in
a
your
way that we
house and I'm
can.
naked. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, huh.
Oh my god.
Too late.
I already
Yeah.
seen it. Oh man. All right. If you guys don't mind, one last time letting the good people know who you are and where they can find you.
So we are Rachel and Kaz from the Canadian podcast Parehnormal, and you can find us. Well, you can listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music right now, and you can also find us on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and occasionally I post on TikTok when I remember that we have it.
Yeah.
Parehnormal, so it's Parehnormal because we're Canadian. A.
Hey, let me tell you about it.
Yeah, on my Chesterfield with my toque.
What
Wow.
what is your guys' plans for your next investigation? Where are you going next?
Well, we're going to New York.
Yeah.
Ooh,
We're
nice.
crossing
Give you
the
a hint.
border.
Yeah, we're in actually
My
next
most
weekend.
favorite place.
Yeah,
Oh,
My
nice.
most favorite place.
we're going back
Yeah.
to Wildwood next weekend.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where we'll
We
be,
can't help it.
and we will
That
then.
is one of those places that every time we go,
with the intention of, okay, last time we went, this, and this happened. Let's see if we can kind of debunk it or figure out what happened. And then a whole shitload of new stuff happens. And then when we leave, we're like, fuck, damn it. Now we got all this new stuff. We have to try and figure out what it was. So we would just keep circling back to this place.
Every time.
This is a time we wish there was a portal that we could just go. So it's not like a 4-hour drive. That would be nice. So we could just be like, Wildwood.
Just wait. Wildwood may be a 3 and a bit drive, but we actually have plans in the summer. We are going to the Shanley.
Yes.
So we will be
nice.
We will be in Napanosh in July. So yeah.
Napanosh? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Napanosh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm Canadian. Whatever.
Napanosha.
Swamp skin. There you go.
Swamp skin.
Is that what it's called? There's some great names. I love it.
Yeah, there is. Oh man. All right, for the listeners out there, if you like today's episode, please like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a rating and review. If your podcatcher does not allow you to leave a rating and review, please consider doing so on the website where the weird ones are podcast.com. That is also where you can get hot sauce, some merch, some coffee, some short stories that I've written, and some blog posts. Also, all the updates of the movie that I'm working on, they're also in there. So, anyways, next time, I hope you guys have a good time, good day, night, whatever time you just chose to listen to this, and question everything. Stay weird.
In the quiet of the night, when the world feels far, there's a voice through the static, like a falling star. It calls the misfits, the dreamers, the ones who see the shadows in the corners, the truth we barely believe. From the pine tree woods to the desert skies, they talk of ghosts and aliens with wonder in their eyes, not afraid to ask the questions that others won't dare, 'cause the world gets strange when you stop and stare. Come gather around where the weird ones are, by the fireside glow or a midnight car, where the stories run deep and the secrets fly like owls in the dark or stars in the sky. If you've ever felt lost, like you don't belong, you found your place, you found your song, right here where the weird ones are. They'll talk of cryptids, time slips, and deja vu, of spirits that linger, and what might be true. But more than the monsters, it's the people you'll find who dare to be open with curious minds. It's not about fear, it's the thrill of the ride, to question the world with wonder as guide. So pull up a chair, let your freak flag fly, we're the seekers of truth beneath the sky. Yeah, come gather around where the weird ones are, on the moonlit thoughts and cosmic scars, where the veil feels thin and the questions burn, and we chase the strange at every turn. You're not alone, not in the dark, you're with a tribe. You found the spark right here For the ones who wonder, for the ones who know. Welcome home.